Meet Daphne Blunt. She spent her childhood at the White House, and she says that she even flew to England without a passport because the Queen of England has allowed that. But we're not just here for the tea about the Queen of England, even though we'll definitely get to that too. We're here to see what Daphne's story can teach you about ambition, assumption, race, and what it really means to be seen. Everybody wants to know the tea about the Queen of England.
She knows my family. My family never owned slaves.
Do you give back in general?
I'm just existing.
Becca Bloom.
Trigger word. Becca Bloom.
But it's still fucking weird,
It's
no?
weird. And he follows like 6,000 people and they're all baddies.
Jail.
The horse sperm industry is like psycho.
Oh my god, we're gonna get Cartier again.
The answer is no. $1 million cash. Something.
You're a survivor. Who do you identify with?
I mean, I'm definitely new money.
Daphne,
Albina.
thank you so much for inviting me to your house.
Absolutely.
It's so gorgeous and you look like real life Barbie.
Oh my god, thank you. I'm so happy you're here.
I look like Wendy Adams who invaded your house.
I'm here for it. I love it.
Let's talk about the most viral TikTok right away.
Okay, let's do it.
Everybody wants to know the tea about the Queen of England.
Oh my god, yeah.
I had direct permission from the Queen of England to be able to enter the country without a passport.
So my parents were going on vacation. They were taking all of my siblings. Mind you, I have 4. So, and me, the baby. So 7 people. They were going to England, they were going to London, and they were going to Paris. Long story short, a travel agent had advised my mom that because I was under 2, I didn't need a passport to travel. So we get to the airport and people at the airport counter scoffed at them. You are, why would you think that your baby doesn't need a passport? This isn't gonna work. Basically my dad called his very close friend, who is the guy that you call when you need something, who also was working for a family at the time, and told him what was wrong. And he said, give me a minute, let me make a call. He called somebody at the State Department who got in contact with the Queen's office, got me permission. She knows my family, not me, but actually she knows me now. Well, she's dead, never mind. They got in touch with the Queen's office, they got permission. The people at the desk had given away my parents 7 first-class seats, were laughing at them, and then looked like they had egg on their face when they got the call saying, no, actually these people have direct permission. They're good. We'll be waiting for them on the other side to escort them through customs.
So did you ever meet the Queen of England?
I have not met the Queen, no.
What about anybody from your family?
Yeah, no, my uncle has met the Queen a few times.
Another part of this viral TikTok is that you were also surrounded by the Secret Service.
For a while, my uncle actually had Secret Service.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, so it wasn't my parents that had it. It was another member of my family. But I remember thinking it was cool at the time. I didn't really fully understand, but they would go anywhere we would go ahead of time. They came to our house. So we lived in a gated community at the time, and they would come and check out the house, and you would have no idea. We had no idea they were scoping out the house, but they had to keep somebody safe.
Did it make you feel cool?
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was very cool. I was very proud of my family and what they had accomplished, and I knew that set me aside a little bit, and it made me feel special.
Daphne, so now let's talk about relationships.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you want to get married in the future?
Absolutely.
So what do you think about prenup then?
I think it's kind of a tricky subject. I can see how they're definitely necessary. I think especially if you're inheriting assets, I think it's important to protect those, let alone with the divorce rate, at least in the US, being over 50%. I'm very much, when you're with someone, I think you should share full assets 100%, but I think protecting things that you've inherited or your family's it's necessary.
You mentioned that your parents don't have a prenup.
Yeah, no, my parents don't have a prenup. And also my dad has been married 3 times and never had a prenup. And he always said, just give the woman whatever she wants, move on, you can make more money.
Wow, okay, we like this behavior.
Yeah.
But they tell you that you still need a prenup, right?
Yes, at this point, for sure. They're you definitely need that.
Okay, this is the game of prenup questions, which either a couple should ask each other or girlfriends can just play with each other and see where they stand.
Okay, I'm excited.
So you can pick the first card.
Okay. Should expensive gifts like a car or jewelry be returned if the relationship ends No.
Jail if a guy asks you
That's
to return
pathetic,
anything.
honestly, and petty. If they're like, you need to give it back. No.
I actually have friends who were dating some man, and the moment the relationship ended, they brought them a list of things which
That's
they
insane.
bought for them.
That's insane behavior. This is a gift for a reason.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm not even entertaining this concept. No. I would rather like break it than give it back.
In that same TikTok, you mentioned that your parents never worked or they retired when you were already born.
Yeah, so that was actually my original idea for that TikTok. Was I was just gonna say like things I thought were normal growing up working, and that was gonna be the whole video. I just thought it'd be funny, but because it's kind of a running joke around here that like nobody works and nobody's ever worked, because like think about it, like when you're a kid, you see your parents going to work and you like learn about work because you're watching it happen, and I never had that. So like my mentality towards working is very like weird and skewed because like my dad retired when I was 4. I have like one memory of going to his office before that. But even before that, he was only working until like 2 p.m. every day. Like he kind of met my mom and said like, I'm good. And he was ready to like retire and move away. So yeah, my whole life, I've been very fortunate. Both of my parents have been extremely present in my life all the time. Like I got to spend so much time with my dad.
So your mom used to be a model. But what about your dad? What was he doing before he met your mom?
My dad just worked in finance. He was a lawyer. I think people want me to be like, my dad invented electricity. Like, I don't know what people want from me, but he's a finance guy.
I think like you're just reminding people that you can be successful at finance, that you can be successful as a lawyer or as a doctor, and still have this lifestyle.
Absolutely, you can.
You were not born in LA though, right?
No, I was actually born in Kansas.
You were one of the youngest people to own a horse, right?
Yes, in Miami. So I was born in Overland Park, Kansas, which is like a affluent suburb of Kansas City. It's like very lovely there. When I was 4, and so even before that, pretty much my dad had decided to retire and he wanted to be warm. And he was wanting actually to move to a private island. He wanted to live in the Caribbean and like have me be homeschooled and be like an island girl. And like he just was wanting like paradise. Like he wanted to be on vacation forever. But my mom is like very like patriotic and she like loves America and like it's hard to say these things now because people will come at me, but like in the 2000s, like people like loved America and like being like, you know, making it. Like my parents didn't grow up with money and they both like made it. So she didn't want to leave and they compromised on Miami. So we went to Miami for the next couple of years and that's where I was doing competitive horse racing. My dad and I were owning race horses. I was playing tennis and I was starting to do theater and get into acting as well.
So even though your parents didn't grow up with money, you were doing the old money kids activities.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think one thing I would say about my parents is that like they like know how to live life and they're not like, they weren't like, oh, we want to do these things because now we have money. They were just like, we want to do whatever we want to do that makes us feel happy and it's fun and we can enjoy it. Like, I remember I used to always ask, like, they used to have a country club membership and I would always say like, why don't we have that anymore? Like, I want to go. And they were like, we didn't like the people there and it was too much like fakeness. They just want to do whatever they want to do. Yeah. And I think, I mean, obviously that's one of like the luxuries that having a lot of money can afford you is like you can literally do whatever you want to do.
In the comments, people always try to guess if you're old money or new money.
Oh, I know.
So who do you identify with?
I mean, I'm definitely new money for sure. I come from a family that has a really long lineage in the US. Like we have our own cemetery in Missouri, like with 10 plus generations of people. Like we've been here since the American Revolution, which is really cool. Actually, you can trace one of my ancestors back to the Declaration of Independence. So we've been here, but my family was like sort of in government, but then they became farmers. You know, that's kind of like what people did back in those days. And so my dad grew up on a farm and didn't grow, like he always says like, I always had more than everyone I knew, but I didn't have a lot. And I'm like, and he just like really built something for himself. Him and his brother really built like amazing lives for themselves. So I would most certainly identify as new money. And I think it like also gives you an interesting perspective on things when your parents didn't grow up with as much, because also they want to give you everything. Oh, how should a couple handle infidelity in the relationship?
Have you ever experienced this?
Not to my knowledge. I tend to go for like not so much of a cheater man, more of like a mentally ill man. Like that's usually my
That's your
realm.
type?
I personally think like it would be a really, really rare situation where you like kiss and make up. Because like that betrayal of trust is just so like crazy. Like how do you deal with that? Like how do you trust them ever again? Like, and I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm like a low-key man hater. I feel like women are so giving, like at least all the women I know, and will like so much put themselves into their relationship and do so much that it's like, if he's doing that, what else is he doing?
Yeah.
What other kind of like shady behavior does he have?
So how would you deal with this if God forbid?
I would murder them.
But what would you write in the prenup?
Oh my God, I don't know. Do you have this in yours?
So I think you are required for a compensation, and I think you should also,
That's fair.
Like for example, you own some estate somewhere, I don't know, in Aspen.
Yeah.
If you cheat, now it's mine. And same with me.
I think that, yes.
And it should like, not that it should motivate you not to cheat, because you should just be a good person by nature.
You would think.
But I think you would think twice before losing your favorite property.
Yeah, you know what? Absolutely. Or like $1 million cash, something, you know? I don't know. A breakup Birkin. More than that,
Birkin. But do you think it's ever possible to get back together after something?
No, I mean, I feel like I've heard of it happening, but I don't know that I could personally do that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think some people are in relationships where they see it as very transactional, and I think some women are okay with that. They're okay with being betrayed for having a certain lifestyle. So I really think it depends on the person, because I know there are women who know that their husbands cheat on them, but they are okay with it because they have a great house and go on great vacations and blah, 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 you know?
But what do you consider as cheating? Because for some people, it's like liking somebody's pictures.
I'm not that crazy. I mean, I would, if I was like married and like, first of all, actually, you want to know my real opinion? I don't think men should have social media. Like,
I so agree.
I don't. Unless it's for your work.
We love our male audience.
Yes.
But.
Yes. Oh, like, I'm just like, I get it for like keeping up with friends and stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, this is for the girls. And like, I think if your husband liked like a random bikini photo and you've been together a long time and you trust them, sure.
But it's still fucking weird,
It's weird. I'm saying like, I'm like, okay. But even like, I think if you're dating someone and you come across that, no.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? You have to always check men's followings. Like, are they following 1,000 women? I was talking to this girl the other day and she was telling me about this guy she really liked. And she was like, but I did look at who he follows, and he follows like 6,000 people and they're all baddies. And I was like, girl, the answer is no. Shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also make you feel crazy because they're like, oh, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's just
then
like,
why did you like it? Why did you like it?
No, because you know what? Men are low-key really intentional with what they like. I always notice like
1000%.
when I'm like talking to somebody, they like are so specific about what they like and what they don't like, and like, you know, what the story likes, because that's like a secret. It can be
Oh my God,
weird.
that's the worst, because you might never find out.
Yeah. And I have it happen all the time where like people that I know, just like men that I know from around LA or whatever, and I follow them and they'll like my like sexy photo or story, and I'm like, wait, aren't you married?
That's the worst.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd be able to forget. Actually, you know what? I'm fucking lying. I tried to forgive it once.
Yeah.
And it actually, like, it crushed my soul.
Yeah.
Like, and you would think that the worst part is leaving, but the worst part is being in this indecisiveness where you can't decide if you should leave or not. But then, once I left, I was like, holy shit, I can breathe again.
Yeah.
Why was I staying there for so long? So girls, don't do that.
Yeah, please don't. There are more men.
Yeah.
Better men.
And women.
Yeah, and there are more people.
What makes you really different from new money, I think, is that you know your family's history.
Like, I know, like, my family never owned slaves. And so that's, like, an interesting aspect to, especially being, like, mixed race.
Let's talk about race since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because so many creators like me or European kid, Becca Bloom, they go online.
Trigger word, Becca Bloom.
Oh, really? Why?
Because everybody in my comments, I see like, I've seen probably 1,000 comments being like, oh, well, Becca Bloom, you're not Becca Bloom. Oh, Becca Bloom is the only like rich person that I take seriously. And I just think like, I had seen her content before, and I think that she lives like an extremely like opulent lifestyle. It's almost like a caricature, and I'm sure she's playing it up a little bit. But it like, people kind of, what I've come to understand from my comments is unless you present yourself in this way where you're like, here's my food that the chef made on China for my dog, they like almost can't comprehend that there are, it's kind of like what I was saying, like there are a lot of people with a lot of money, like who aren't like feeding their dog chef made food off of China. It's just it's a weird thing, and it kind of annoys me.
What annoys me though is that people believe, some people, that they're rich, but they're questioning others.
Yeah.
And that was a huge contrast for me in your comments and in her comments.
Yeah.
Do you think race plays a big role in this?
I unfortunately think that it does. I mean, also because I've literally seen comments saying that exact thing, like saying, oh, you can't be privileged because of your skin tone, or like trying to like insult me and call me ghetto, say that I look like I lived in like Section 8 housing. I don't even know what that is, but I know they're insulting me, you know, calling me, I mean, literally racial slurs. I see all of it. And I also see discourse of people saying, you know, would you be saying this if she was a blonde white girl? Probably not. Like, this was never an issue I had to face head on until I really started putting myself out there online. And then I posted a video recently just like kind of commenting on all of the commentary that has come up about my race. Because not only is it people saying, we don't believe you, like essentially because you're black, it's then there's a whole other side of people saying like, why are we praising her as like black girl luxury when like her money comes from a white man, like she's half white, she's not even black, like this and that. I just can't win, honestly.
But do you think that so many people in the US still cannot believe that black people can be rich and successful?
I guess, like, I don't have a real answer for you for this, because a part of me thinks that like it must be like almost such internalized racism that it's like people see what I'm talking about and they feel jealous, essentially. They're jealous. And so, and I'm like black, but I'm not convinced that it's at the top of everyone's mind. I think it's like a lot of deep rooted like issues, because I know, you know, as time goes on, the wealth disparity in the country gets bigger and bigger. And I guess like being like a poor white person, seeing like an affluent like black person is like, they can't handle it. I don't know.
I think what was upsetting me the most about your comments when I was reading them is them trying to downplay you being a black person because you have a white father. It's almost like all of those commentary which you were seeing with Barack Obama, saying that he's not black enough.
Yeah. My parents really raised me and my sisters to be like so almost like racially independent. Like they were just like, the most important thing is who you are and what you like, and that you're a good person, and that like, you know, you are nice. My dad was taking my oldest sister to enroll her, and he was filling out the paperwork, and they would not allow him to check more than one racial box. And so he left, and he said, she's not going to school here. If you're gonna not acknowledge either of her parents, we're not doing that.
But how did they even explain it?
I don't know. I mean, it was the 90s, but they said no. They said, you need to pick one. We like categorized, because we never looked around and were like, oh, I'm different. Like I never felt that way. I never felt that way until anyone pointed it out to me. You know, because I've received criticism from a lot of black women as well. They're like, you don't have enough black friends. You're not, what are you doing for your community? What are you doing for your culture? And I'm like, I'm just existing. Imagine if I'm having a birthday party and I'm like, all right, did I hit the diversity quota here? Let me make sure that I check off each like racial box. How weird would that be?
But I don't think that's, and I don't want to assume what they mean, but I think what people would ask us in the comments is like, what do you as a rich person give back to the community? And it doesn't have to be a black community or a white community, but do you give back in general?
Of course. I get this a lot too. Like recently, if I post anything, they're like, at least one or two people will comment like, how about giving to charity? And I'm like, how do you know that I'm not? You don't. my content is about shopping, beauty, fashion, and now my lifestyle. I'm not like, I feel like it's so disingenuous to like film when I go help at a food bank or when I go donate to women's shelters or like anytime I've done something with the church that my family's involved in. I would never even think to get my phone out. I don't feel the need to prove myself in that way because I know. What can ruin a relationship? The first thing that comes to my mind, because this ruined my relationship, is resentment. I think if you resent the other person, not like giving you what you need and not acting the way that you expect a partner to act, that will kill the relationship for sure. What do you think?
I think so many things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
I think what can really kill a relationship if you don't believe in each other.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always say this, like, it's called a partnership for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the concept has kind of gotten away from people in our generation. Like, people just want to like date, but they don't want to be a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, a partner means like helping you financially, helping you pursue your career, helping you pursue whatever your dreams are in life, like all of these things. And I think it's like, it's scary, the things that I hear and see about people just unable to like really be in this partnership with somebody else.
What do you think about dating somebody who's not as financially successful as you are?
I personally am not interested in that. I think it can work. I have seen it work, but I've also seen like one of my closest friends, like I was just literally basically referencing her. She's an investment banker. She makes great money. She's super smart. She's like hot. She's great. And she was like really in love with this guy and dating him. And they literally broke up because he could not handle that she was more successful than him. And I just am like, if the man is secure, I think it can work. And also, I don't meet honestly a lot of women who want to be the sole like provider. Like women want to be provided for the most part that I interact with. Like even the girls I know who are making a lot of money, they still want to be taken care of. His money is my money and my money is my money.
You know, people like probably will get upset about this.
I know, but like, I'm sorry, I don't think that they're being honest. Like, I feel like if you're able, like in my last relationship, which was like a very serious, like we were talking about getting married, we would always talk about how like he would pay for our lifestyle and he would pay for our houses and stuff. And all of the money that I made, I would buy like shoes and bags and whatever I wanted and spend it on fun things. And that was the agreement that we had. And that's, for me, ideal.
So this is how it actually worked in my family as well. And my dad never cared how my mom spends her money.
Yeah.
But my mom is also a type of person who doesn't like shopping. She doesn't like wasting money.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, lucky dad,
if
right?
only.
But I was like, that was his blessing. His curse is having $3.
Yeah.
Because we were like buying a lot. But the thing is, once we had financial troubles, my mom actually had so much money saved up from this entire time that it really helped
everything
us.
happens for a reason, I think. Yeah.
Capricorn mom.
Yeah. Oh my God, I wish I had more Capricorn in my chart. I'm like,
what's your sign?
I'm gonna give you a very LA answer, but I'm a Libra Scorpio cusp. So my birthday is like exactly in between.
Were your parents explaining money to you as a child?
Not really. I mean, my dad still like invests in stuff. And I think like I told you, he grew up on a farm and he always says he had Depression era parents because his parents like lived through the Great Depression. And so my dad has always been like, he's a bit of a diva. He's like a big spender, but he's also like, likes to stay home and like wear his whatever clothes. Like he doesn't care about that kind of thing. So when I was younger, he would kind of like fearmonger a little bit because I think he wanted me to like understand money's not like endless.
So you never had any financial anxiety throughout your entire life?
So my dad used to freak me out because he would be like, the market's down, like I'm down $300,000 today, like this and that. And I would be like, oh my God, we're poor. Like, I don't know what's happening. But then he would literally be like, all right, we're gonna go like buy a horse. And I would be like.
And people don't understand how expensive horses are. Can you tell a little bit about that?
I mean, yeah, horses are extremely expensive. I mean, a horse can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $5 million, you know? And especially with racehorses, they don't have a super long span that they can race. Most racehorses are like less than a year to like 2 years old. Those are like the prime age. So you don't have that much time. We also bred horses for a little while. The horse like sperm industry is like psycho, like crazy. Like that's where you're gonna get into the millions.
You didn't become a professional athlete.
No.
But they still wanted you to go to university, and to a very specific one.
Yes, they did.
Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. Essentially, I almost went to UCLA instead. So it was between UCLA and Georgetown. And I went to UCLA, I toured the campus, like it was great. And I was very, very deep into my acting career at the time. Like I was a working actress as a late teenager. And I had done a show for Nickelodeon, a pilot, which is like the first episode of a series where they pitch the show. But to even get there is such a long period of time. And I had been working with Disney, working with Nick and all these things. And then it felt like so amazing. They were gonna make this big series of movies with Kenny Ortega, who is the director of High School Musical. It was a big fucking deal. And I was working and auditioning and meeting with the director for that movie for 8 months, and they gave me nothing. And I was devastated. And I was like, I will no longer audition or work with Disney. And right after that, Nickelodeon hired me. And I was like, okay, like universe, everything's working out. Like everything's going how it's supposed to go. So I signed a 6-year contract with Nickelodeon when I was 18. And essentially like you cannot audition or work and do anything without their permission, but you have to wait to find out if your show got picked up. My show did not get picked up. And while I was waiting in those months, I was 18 and I was like, had always kind of wanted to go to school because I had only gone to like middle school. And so I was like, okay, I'm either gonna do this show and this is gonna be my life, or if it doesn't get picked up, I'm gonna go to college. So while I'm waiting to find out, I'm applying to college and stuff. And my parents had always wanted me to go to Georgetown. My sister went there. My dad did not go there, but he almost went there. My aunt and uncle live in DC. It was just, and I had been there a bunch, and it's beautiful and it's an amazing school. And so it all came down to it. It was gonna be UCLA and I was gonna keep acting, or it was gonna be Georgetown and we were gonna take a break and try something else. And they like flew me out to DC to like see the school and like put me up in the 4 seasons. And I like had the best
Your
time.
parents?
Yeah, I had the best time. I was like, it's so beautiful here. I've always wanted to, I was like, this is like Gossip Girl. Like I'm on the East Coast. Everybody here is like affluent. Like this is amazing. So different than like the life that I had been living.
Yeah.
And I agreed to go. I just like ended up not really feeling like it was really my choice. I think they kind of like made it seem like it would be so amazing and it would like change my life. And the first year I had a horrible time. I was like so depressed. My mom was like in DC all the time because I like could not handle it. I was so overwhelmed. I missed acting. I missed being creative. I missed my friends. I'm in like, the East Coast is fucking cold. I didn't have a coat. I had like only light jackets. Yeah, I sort of was like, you know, I actually don't think I want to be on the East Coast. I think I want to be here. And I think I want to get back into acting. And I know I still want to do fashion or something. I knew that like my parents weren't going to approve of me doing nothing, and I also didn't want to do nothing.
Next question.
Yes.
What are the family ground rules for introducing kids to luxury? That's a good one.
That is a good one. My parents are very like, they want us to enjoy life. Like they're like, also not the type of people who kept their kids like separate. You know, a lot of people like have a lot of nannies or like, you know, go out to dinner without their kids and stuff. And my parents always brought me along. So they were like, because they were like, she might be 2, but she's gonna sit at the dinner table and she's gonna have good manners and she's gonna learn how to be here and learn how to converse. And I did, so yeah.
So do you think that there should be like a limit, at least for when you are getting a first designer bag for your child? Would you do that?
For sure. I mean, I don't think I got one, I'm still gonna say a really young age, but I think I got a designer bag around like 10.
You're a survivor.
Like they weren't like giving it to me at like 2, but I mean, I don't know. We're gonna flash forward to like 10 years and I'm gonna have a baby who has a Chanel bag. Like, I don't know. I think it's like, if it's fun for you and you can, why not?
But I still think that there should be a limit, at least like on watches and things like this.
Yeah. No, I didn't really start getting nice jewelry or a watch until I was in college. That was when
it was actually very different for me, because I think my parents, because we also come from a country where like we're not exposed to wealth, right? So our parents would gift us like designer clothes and expensive jewelry, but they were always explaining that this is kind of like something you can always sell if God forbid something happens.
Yeah, totally. I like, kind of to your point even, I don't think I cared about like jewelry or watches until I was like getting a little older. I was never like, when you asked me what I wanted for Christmas, I wanted like a Chanel bag. I wasn't like, I want like a Cartier bracelet. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I just didn't really care about it until I started to get older.
It was actually a running joke in my family now that we grew up, because my sisters and I were like, oh my God, we're gonna get Cartier again, because we didn't want it. We wanted dolls.
Yeah, or like Claire's, like
the
like regular, I feel you. I felt that way too. I remember I always like wanted to go to like Target, because I was like, well, everybody goes to Target. Like, why don't we go to Target? Like, I don't understand. And it seemed more like cool, you know, because you want to be like everybody else and fit in.
Why do rich kids go online and post about their life?
I think it's fascinating to people. I think there's a more of a disconnect than any of us really realize of like the wealthy to the not. And so I think it's interesting to people to like look at people's lives who are so different than them. I think that's true in general, because I will watch like a video of like these people who are like, oh, we have 10 kids under 10. Here's the lunches I watch weird stuff like that because I'm like, wow, their life is so different than mine. Like, that's so interesting. I think it's the same concept, except for it's like a little more glamorous.
Do you think that it's also happening because middle class is disappearing?
I guess. I mean, yeah. All of this is, even though I posted the video, all of this has still been such a shock to me. And I think it's like showing me kind of like how I'm more privileged than I even realized. Like 100%. I mean, the middle class is disappearing. The wealth disparity is huge. People aren't connecting. And I feel like, you know, I feel like when I was younger, it all seemed, I think people had more hope than they have now. And I know so many people who are like in their late 20s, early 30s who like, especially in LA, who like don't believe they'll ever own a home or like these kinds of things, because it just seems so far out of reach because of how expensive everything is now and just how difficult.
Do you want to own a home?
I already do.
You are very close with your parents, right? Would you say that the biggest privilege is their love or still the financial aspect which you get from them?
Such a hard question. I mean, it's definitely their love. Like, I know so many people who have an abundance of money and have a bad relationship with their parents, and that like ruins your whole life, honestly. If you don't get the help and find the support system that you need, like you're struggling. Even if you're not struggling financially, you're struggling because those bonds are just, I'm personally a fan of the traditional family model, and I think it really, really, really impacts a child and how they exist and go through the world, how they treat other people, how they deal with them, how they treat themselves, everything.
Yeah. I also think very often, are my parents so loving and we are so close because they have money, or the other way around? Because I think it's very easy to be a loving parent when you don't have to worry about those financial issues.
For sure. I mean, you know, my dad not working gave us the ability to be really close because I spent so much time with him that I might not have necessarily been able to do, you know, and could spend a random Tuesday with him if I wanted to.
It's so interesting how the way our parents' relationship is impacting how we also choose our partners.
Absolutely. Especially if your parents are in love and together, you watch them and you're like, okay, so this works. This math makes sense. And so I've always seen like an older white man as like my ideal partner, because I'm just like, okay, this like I've seen, like my dad worships my mom. He is obsessed with her. He's in love with her so much. They've been together for 30 years and are each other's favorite person. Like, why wouldn't I want that too?
So what's your 5-year plan now?
My 5-year plan is to, well, launch my brand, which is launching very soon.
And here are her designs.
While they look like bras, aren't actually, they're cropped corsets. They have like the boning and structure of a corset, so you feel very secure and like comfortable to wear it as a top. And, you know, I personally don't like to have like my whole stomach out. So the skirts tend to be a little bit more high-waisted. So you can still feel really like sexy, but like cute.
Are you investing your own money or is your family helping you?
I mean, it's both. Yeah. It's me
Okay.
and my family investing.
Okay, so are they expecting returns soon?
I don't know. We haven't really discussed that, but I think eventually. I think mostly my dad just wants me to like put everything back into the business and do it that way.
Did you pitch this idea to him or how did it work?
No, he had been really pushing me to start some sort of business for like a long time. He's just very like entrepreneurial, and I think like loved the idea of me doing something, and he was just like, bring me a good idea and we'll do it. I would love to expand it, like potentially have a boutique in LA, grow the business. I would love to be acting full time. I would love to be on like a comedy show, like a 30-minute, like a New Girl or like a Sex and the City type of show, probably one that I wrote. And I would love to be married and be considering having a child.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things to fit in 5 years.
Girl, I know. I am busy all the time.
What relationship is expected to have with in-laws?
I mean, I would hope you have a great relationship with your in-laws. I know that's not everybody's amazing, but like I would love to have a good relationship with my partner's parents. And it's definitely important to me that my partner has a good relationship with my parents because I'm very close with them.
Yeah.
And I like to spend a lot of time with them, so it would kind of suck if they didn't like to be around each other.
Yeah, I think it's, as you're saying, for me, it's extremely important for my husband to have a close relationship with my parents. And I would love to have a close relationship with my in-laws. But you know what I realized recently?
What?
I would rather have a guy not be that close with his family than be a fucking mama's boy.
Oh, girl, yes. Mama's boys are so scary. They scare me. It's terrifying.
It's creepy.
It's weird. And it's just like, it's just going to be indicative of like a lot more problems.
You know, once my parents found out that I'm engaged, I flew to Toronto to see my parents, and I'm very close with my family. But my dad sat me down and he was like, Albina, you will always have your family no matter what, but now that you have a husband, this is your first family and you should prioritize him over anybody else. And I think so many moms of men don't tell them that.
I think you're right. I think you're so right. But I 100% agree. And I feel like my parents would say the same. And they have behaved the same. Like, our family is the top priority. And then, like, you know, I mean, and it's sad. And I can't really imagine it, but, like, leaving your parents behind a little bit. It sounds, like, insane to me. But, like, I do think, I mean, if you're trying to build, like, a wonderful life with somebody, that has to be your priority. If one of us earns significantly more than the other, how should we share our expenses?
One of us, it's like, imagine the couple was
friends,
so.
Obviously. I mean, I think if somebody's making significantly more, they should be handling 90% of the bills.
And now, imagine that person who's making more is a woman. Would you still have the same opinion?
Well, yes, but my question would more so be like, why are you with this man who's not? But it depends. It's like, is he pursuing his dreams or is he like a loser? Like, is he working his way up the corporate ladder or is he a bum? You know what I mean? Like, it depends really on a case-to-case basis. But I mean, I know people who have this situation where somebody makes significantly more money and they still split everything. And it causes a lot of tension because it's like the woman makes less money and it's like, as her man, like you're gonna marry her, you're gonna give her babies, like, why aren't you helping her?
Yeah.
Why is she struggling when she has a partner who could help her?
But I think like struggling financially is one thing, but sometimes you can earn significantly more and then you're just not emotionally present. And that also sucks because I often hear from like, you know, for example, a couple decided to have a child and a man is like, oh, darling, don't worry, I'll help you. No, I'll help you. You look after a child and I'll be helping you.
100%. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about like the whole partner thing is like a lot of men these days really see everything almost as just a financial transaction. And kind of like what I was saying earlier, like helping with the kids, helping with the house, taking care of the house, taking care of all of these things. Like those are all commodities and values that need to be shared.
Yeah.
And, you know, it shouldn't be like all 100 or nothing.
Yeah. Who would you recommend for us to have next on this show?
Becca Bloom. Who would I?
She's probably not gonna come after you
No,
said that
I
you
know.
don't like her.
But also, I don't think she like. I don't know. I don't know that she like would do anything. I feel like
I
she's,
actually can tell a little secret to our audience about this. I followed Becca on Instagram. She was generous enough to follow me back, and I was like, I have this YouTube show. Do you want to come in? And she said that like she loves our YouTube, but she's not ready to give an interview yet.
Yeah.
Becca, I'm still waiting for you. So your recommendation is Becca Bloom?
No, my recommendation would be like, I think it would be interesting to see somebody like the girl whose family like owns Erewhon. Because I always watch her content and I think it's so interesting, and I'm always like, oh, she's just a girl, you know? Or somebody like Devin Lee Carlson, like somebody who like grew up like with access and really took it and ran with it.
Well, the final question is, Daphne, are you happy?
Am I happy? I wouldn't say I'm unhappy, but I don't think I've reached my like peak happiness yet. I think like I'm somebody who's very hard on myself and strives for a lot, and I have so many things I want to do to like be the happiest I could be, but my life is great. I'm super blessed, and I've had this amazing moment where I've kind of like had everything that I had been wanting delivered to me via this video. So sure, I'm happy. I just made it so complicated. I'm like, happiness. What is happiness? Like right now, I was just telling my friends this the other day at dinner. Right now, everything in my life has been going so well that I'm almost like afraid. Because it's like, oh my God, how can things all be working out this well?
Well, knock on.
Yeah.
Well, Daphne, I hope that you will always be happy.
Thank
and
you.
as you said, that you will reach some peak level of happiness and you will stay there for the rest of your life. It's such an honor to be at your house here. You know, people are questioning how rich you are. I'm seeing this. I don't have any questions.
All right, good.
Thank you so much for being so generous and inviting us.
Of course.
And I'm sure I will see you many times around.
Thank you for coming.